Hello, I'm Adam from No Rolls Bud, and we're here in our studio. We built a studio. We're gonna play games in here. We got lights on the ceiling. We've got a big nerd behind us, but pride of place in the studio is this: our new board gaming table, and we're gonna do a review of it right now. So, a quick disclaimer before we start. This table was sent to us by GeekNSon, who are a wonderful Europe-based company. They got in contact with us and said, we'll provide you with a gaming table in exchange if you could promote some GeekNSon things. For example, the fact that you can still late pledge to their Kickstarter for this very table itself. And if you could do an objective review of the table. A crucial distinction is, whilst we've been provided with the table, we've not been paid to make the review. You can decide for yourself whether or not this is going to be a biased review. I'm going to try and keep it as objective as possible, but we got a free table out of it, but we didn't get money out of it. Now, this table is called the Bristol table. They actually have a line of different tables, but we're not going to talk about those. We're going to talk about what we love and what maybe we don't like about this particular table, so that maybe if you haven't encountered board game tables before, you could maybe see why one might not be for you, or if one is for you, why this might just be the one for you. Now, this table is the one that's officially marketed as being for 6 to 8 people, but also, if you don't mind sharing a bit of space, 1, 2, 3, you could do that on both sides. You could fit 10 people relatively comfortably around this table. You can definitely get 8. Like, as gaming tables go, this is a good size. This table comes with a lot of standards for board gaming table. If you're new to a board gaming table, we're going to run through a couple of those now. The main one is this lovely felt top. Don't get it wet, for God's sake. If you've ever played on a kind of casino quality poker table, you'll understand why this is so nice. Not only does it feel good, but also when you're playing cards, now this is something that, too much information about me, but I handle stress badly and I chew my fingernails off, which means when a card is on wood, it's sometimes like a drunk trying to pick a penny off the floor. However, with felt, because you can just push it in, boop, card comes off nice and easy. Also in the table are card holders like that, so you can basically just be looking at your cards in this little groove right here. Although if someone sat next to you, they can absolutely see your cards, so don't do that. Maybe. Also included in the table are cup holders. These are good, but not great. They're machine washable, they're lightweight, but if anything, they might be a little too lightweight because, careful Adam, careful Adam, careful Adam. While they do, they're obviously going to stop you from tipping beyond the point. I hated doing that. They're a little easy to come out of the thing. So like, you want to take a drink, there you go. So you take your drink up, the cup holder tends to come with it and then drops down in a clatter, which scares your partner's mother when you play board games with them. Anyway, the cup holders, the card holders, the felt table, these are all part of most gaming tables, but it just makes it feel luxury. One last thing about the cup holders is they do not hold normal coffee mugs. They hold coffee mugs with those little high handles. Also, any of those kind of double kind of paned glass coffee mugs, they also look really cool. There's a picture of one. Those go in here, absolutely no problem. So just stop drinking tea like an old-fashioned Luddite bastard, I guess. So if you're anything like me, one of the main things you've noticed about this lovely felt inset, oh my gosh, it feels so good. It has this huge split up the middle, which most board game table insets don't have. That is because it's in 2 halves. And both halves can be removed. I'll explain why that's the case a little bit later, but some of you might have been like a huge red flag. First of all, aesthetically, it looks a little less pretty than one big mass of color. And the other one will be, what about that? Cocked dice. Ultimately, like, I've played on this table a little bit. It hasn't happened. Like, here's an entire thing of dice. And the whole point of having a recessed gaming table is you're not supposed to throw them down the middle. It's because it's recessed, so you can throw them against the sides of the table like that. So the reason why the inset's in two halves is so that half of it can be lifted up, and with these two free strake boards that you get with the purchase of the gaming table, you can do this. You can raise half of the board. I mean, that's the whole point of the Bristol. It's all about modularity. It's all about creating your own sort of gaming setup and providing you with very easy tools that kind of all slot together in order to make the perfect board game landscape. For example, you could be playing like a game in this recess with like half of your friend group, you know, something relatively small involving throwing dice that bounce off this little guard, this little straight board here, and other people can be playing a card game up here. I don't think the crease is a deal breaker. You're gonna be putting the board there for the lion's share of things. Like if you really want to roll dice and make sure that nothing ever goes near the thing, you've got these free two corner things there, and you can just roll dice like directly into those. Am I going to be raising up half of my inset ever? No, probably not. But some people might, and considering that the Bristol is very cost effective when it comes to a board gaming table, the modularity is more of a bonus than a detriment. One of the main things that comes with a board game table is you have to be able to hide the fact that you're a nerd. So most board game companies build their tables with a top that makes it look just like a normal fancy table. And the Bristol is no exception. In fact, the Bristol might just be the most camouflaged board game table ever. Let me show you. Oh. Like, look at that. How are anyone gonna know you're a nerd? And then literally, as soon as you're done, these end bits are held together in place with magnets that are built into the table, by the way, which is really cool, which gives the whole thing a bit of stability. Then obviously when you're done with it, you just take them off. And now this is an add-on, to be fair, but it's only 50 quid and it's borderline essential. All of the leaves go underneath the table in this built-in little leaf holder that's actually made in such a way that even if you're sitting right up next to the table, your knees don't touch it, so you forget it's there. It is the perfect storage system and genuinely one of my favorite things about this table. When everything's like this, this could be a perfectly serviceable dining table. So yeah, you could be a functional adult too. You did it. But one of the things about having dinner on the table with a game saved underneath is this needs to be waterproof, because you're an idiot who will absolutely spill your wine onto the table, and if it gets through, then congratulations, you've just ruined your board game table, because the inserts, they cost a lot to replace. So, GeekNSon say that this is absolutely waterproof. Let's put that to the test, shall we? You're shaking your head, Laurie.
I don't want to, we only just got it.
You don't want this. Let's see if you are waterproof. Oh, didn't enjoy doing that. All right, so let's clear up the excess. Look, if we're ruining our table, so you don't have to. Let's check underneath, shall we? As you can see, oh no. Obviously, we didn't actually try this with the inset inside because we're not mental, but you can see pooling here. So it's not entirely waterproof, which means I wouldn't recommend ever using it as a dining room table with your insets underneath. The insets are easy to remove, so you could take them out before you then put the leaves back on top and use it as a dining room table. The idea of eating at it, knowing that you could ruin the table underneath, like that's not stress I can deal with. GeekNSon do other tables with actual kind of like sluice systems, which actually take all water and kind of take it down the sides of tables. The Bristol's marketed as having a waterproof top. It doesn't. But again, like the main selling point of the Bristol is how you can kind of build your ideal gaming landscape by kind of slotting everything into this kind of foundation. Let's talk about the add-ons that you can get with the table. For example, you can get LED lighting. Look at that. You can move things from bright to not so bright. Again, like it's atmosphere. And for me, I love it. because I am one of the people that create Spotify playlists for their games. So the idea of being able to control the lighting to, kind of bounce off the shift in mood, that is a huge plus, and it works like a dream. Just easy to turn off, easy to turn on. It's got like modes where it'll just kind of keep flashing. Who in their right mind would want that? But it's there, just in case you do want it. So moving on to other things. If you get the table, you get 4 of these for free if you get it with the Kickstarter. These are little acrylic token bins. You can also get acrylic screen, like kind of privacy protectors to kind of hide your stuff from everyone else. You can even get these little acrylic desk things to kind of put like kind of character sheets on and stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like them because everything else is really nice finished wood and this kind of is reflective plastic. Useful to have tokens nearby, but then you've also got these, which you get with the table. They're so much nicer. You just slot them into the middle and you can put tokens in there. Ugh. Better version of these is one of these, which you can kind of pop a laptop on. You can pop your cards in there. You can put your tokens in there. As we said, there are magnets built into the table. So you can, boom, you can pop them in there like that. These can fit your counter holders like that, or you can put a dice tower. There you go. Most tables will give you the option to kind of slot stuff in, like slide drawers, extra cup holders. But for me, like the magnets are, I like them. I like the fact you can just boom, slot that in, and then even if you bang that, it's not falling off the table. Also, if you're an RPG dork like Tom is, or Luke is, or Laurie is, then you can build this little DM station at the end. Super easy to slot in. It's also held in with magnets. It's got a DM screen that has magnets in the bottom of it, and it just slots in like that. You can have your little magnetic corner here with a dice tower to roll things that only the DM will see. I rolled 3 bloody 6s there, but you never believe me. You can also add in one for the players, for the public rolls. You can also grab these as an add-on. They're little wireless chargers for your phone. So you just pop your phone on there. It doesn't work on mine because I haven't updated my phone. I refuse to. It works on Laurie's though. There you go. Laurie, is that your, is that Terry? Yeah. If your phone doesn't have wireless charging capabilities, which mine probably does, but I'm stubborn and I refuse to update it, you just plug it in and yeah, it works. It's fine. It's good. I mean, all of this does mean that your table needs to be plugged in, but I don't care about that. I think that's fine. Is there anything I've forgotten? No. Yes, actually, there is. They said this thing. It's just like a thing with a drawer. You can add these little chip boxes. There's a lot, and that is the Bristol's thing. It's not just a gaming table where you can just slide the odd accessory in, but it still retains the landscape of the table. You can genuinely, fundamentally alter it to create more immersive gaming situations, if that doesn't sound incredibly wanky. And that's one of the things that really plays into the Bristol's favor, is that if you late pledge for their Kickstarter, you can get just the table for just over $1,000. Or you can get a slightly smaller table without the top on it. You can still fit just about 8 people around for under £800. And yes, that doesn't sound cheap, but when you consider that most board game tables, they run at minimum 1,500 to 2,000 to, in the really high end, you're looking at 4, 5, 6 grand. These are luxury items, but at its basis level, the Bristol manages to look nice, and like we can remove all of this stuff. We can remove it. You know, you get rid of the drawers, you get rid of this huge chip station, which, you know, thanks for sending it and everything. You can get rid of the DM screen because you guys don't play a whole bunch of Dungeons and Dragons because you're not absolute melts like Luke and Laurie. You can get rid of all of this, and ultimately what you are left with is this. GeekNSon, I think they really pitched like the modularity is the heart of the Bristol. All the things you could do to change this and that around. I don't think that's the heart of our ultimate recommendation for this table, because we do recommend it. If I sounded like I've skewed a little negative in this review, it's because board game tables are luxury items. They cost a lot of money and you never really need one. Get a cheap table from IKEA, you can play a board game on that. Board game tables give you an almost intangible, almost like, oh, you have to try it for yourself quality. Playing cards onto this felt because of the extra friction of the cards feel heavier as you put them down. The way you roll, throwing dice into the corner without worrying they're gonna fall off the table. Compared to other board game tables with similar quality of like finish, it's unfortunately cheap. That's the heart of why I think the Bristol is good, because essentially it's a budget price in the world of board game tables, especially if you late pledge to their Kickstarter. Whether or not all the different add-ons speak to you, that's a personal preference, and you can modulate the board however much you want. But for me, it's about playing in this space. And ultimately, I kind of have to go positive because I've played on normal tables and I've played on this and I love playing on this, and I've struggled to put it into words why it's so much better. So if you would like to late pledge to their Kickstarter, you can. Links are in the description. Also check out GeekNSon's website for more of their range. If you want something like an actual waterproof top, they do have those. That's all from us. I've tried not to script this because I want my genuine feelings and emotions to come out about the table, to be completely transparent and not make it feel like a massive commercial. Hope I've done that. Join us next week when we will be playing on this table in an in-person board game club. I genuinely cannot wait. Playing on this feels like a dream, and being in the same room as everyone is fantastic. And Laurie, I don't know how to finish the video. Get on board. Subscribe to No Rolls Barred. I'll just keep talking. I really need a script. Just turn off the camera, Laurie. Just turn it